butt. Stick a butt.
That's why I like professional sports. Just walking.
Good. Everyone who has interest in the shuttle to the parking garage, is that what we're talking about? Sorry, you're getting. Yeah, media parking garage. For those in attendance for our 12th game of the tournament, the arena has made a slight adjustment for the post-game shuttle that will take you back to the media parking lot due to projected rain. You will be able to wait at the stairwell B doors located on the main concourse at section 108. The magenta lot is immediately outside those doors. The shuttle will pick up inside of that magenta lot. The last one will be at 12:30 a.m. Again, this one goes back to the media parking at the Ed Wolf Garage. So stairwell B, located main concourse, section 108. The magenta lot is the enclosed lot. The shuttle will pick you up there. The last one leaves at 12:30 a.m. Okay. Nothing has changed with the media shuttle that goes back to the media hotel. The last one stops at midnight for the media hotel. Yeah. No. No, you kept getting a lot of texts. Colorado's on its way. Their way. Its way. The way. Okay, mic holders up here towards the front, please. Thank you. All right, joined by Colorado head coach J.R. Payne, student athlete Ziona Walker, and Desiree Wooten. Coach, if you could get us started, please.
Oh, man, yeah. Really proud of how we played tonight. I thought we were very prepared and very excited for this opportunity. Sometimes in the Big 12, when you only get to play someone once, and in that one time, you don't perform the way you wish you had, sometimes you don't get to play that game again for an entire year. So this was a really great opportunity for us because we were frustrated with the way we finished the one game we did play with Baylor this year. And so we were just really excited for the opportunity to play them again. And yeah, just overall great team effort. It wasn't, perfect in any sense of the word, but I thought we did exactly what we needed to do to be successful. So proud of our effort for sure.
All right, raise your hand. If you have a question, we'll get a microphone right here in the front row. Thank you.
This is for Desiree Wooten. 50% from the field in your first Big 12 tournament appearance. You gave your coach 32 minutes off the bench. Talk about what this lady brings to you to help this team, because I've watched y'all numerous times, and y'all click. Y'all have a chemistry unlike other.
She just helps me thrive, man. Like, she pushes me to be the best defender, offensive player I can be. I mean, along with my team, they're always hyping me up, telling me to stay in it. Like, when I'm in my head or hard on myself, they're always there to pick me up. So I just think I like that about it.
Okay.
Brian Howell, today the cameras for Ziona. Can you talk about, I'm sure you guys got a refresher course of the first Baylor matchup since last night. And what was different this time in your minds that you guys felt you could exploit some things?
I just think the first time we played them, we kind of just beat ourselves. Like, we were just missing easy layups, just turning the ball over and just unforced turnovers. So, this time we were really locked in. And, we just knew we had to just do the little things and just do the simple basketball things to win the game.
And then just as a quick follow-up, you have the big lead most of the game, and then all of a sudden they start coming back in the fourth. That fourth quarter, the first 5 minutes were not good. So what was going through you guys' minds there to try to settle down, not let that lead get below 7?
It was expected. Like, they're a great team, so we knew they were going to hit a run eventually, but it's important for us to just be able to stop that run, and we did that, so, yeah.
This is for Zy. I'm sure from within the locker room you had to believe, but outside the locker room, two surprise teams in the semifinals, Colorado and your former team, Kansas State. Can you share your thoughts on each of the surprises for the semifinals?
Man, it's March. Anything can happen. It's March. The great teams are going to be great, and teams are going to fight. Everybody's fighting for a chance at something special. We are. I'm sure they are too. So yeah, I mean, anything can happen.
Over to the right.
Coach, you've mentioned how close this team is all season. How important is that as you get to the Big 12 tournament?
Yeah, I think it becomes critical because like Zai's saying, everyone is fighting for their lives, at this point. And so really, really good basketball is going to happen no matter what. And for us, chemistry is a big part of our success. And so I think we really lean into that chemistry. Like Des had mentioned, if she hangs her head, her teammates are the first ones to pick her up and sort of breathe life back into each other. And so I think that's what makes this group so special.
And then what do the next 20 hours look for you tip off tomorrow?
Well, you see I'm drinking an energy drink at 11 o'clock at night. So lots of film. These guys will, rest and sleep in a little bit. And then for coaches, yeah, just lots of film and preparation and game planning and just get excited to go again tomorrow.
One each for Coach and then Des. But, Coach, you guys have had this knack in your tenure here of having a stumble in the last week of the regular season, then you come out in the conference tournament and play really well. What is it about the makeup of your team, your staff, whatever, that gets this team going when it's postseason?
I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask them. I was just telling someone earlier, someone asked Jalen Sherrod that a month or so ago, like an interview or something, and just said, what is it about Colorado? Like, how do you guys beat all these ranked teams and, do all this? And her statement was something to the effect of, my coaches have a knack for making us believe that we can beat anyone. And so I don't know if you guys feel the same way, that we go into games feeling that, but I thought that was an interesting perspective.
And Des, the two of you combined, I think, for 40 points tonight, and that was most of the scoring. So did you feel like this was going to be a guard game that you two kind of needed to carry the load scoring-wise, or did it just turn out that way?
I think it just turned out that way. I think we have great chemistry together. I think we play well together. I mean, people have been calling us the dynamic duo, so I guess we've just been living up to it.
All right, back over on the right.
First for Coach, you held Baylor just 3 for 21 from behind the arc. What worked defensively for you guys?
Well, going into the game, we knew we had to guard the three-point line. When you look at the games that they've had a lot of offensive success, a lot of it has come from the three-point line, and then, of course, offensive rebounding. So it was important for us to guard the three. And I think our team, we're built on the defensive side of the ball. We like to defend. We believe in our ability to defend. And so I think that was a challenge that they took personally and said, we're going to guard the three.
And then for Desiree, you mentioned after last game you wanted to lock up Talia. 5 for 21 was the number. What comments do you have about that?
I mean, she's a great player. It wasn't easy, I mean, she played her butt off, so she made it hard.
One each for the players, but Des, you hit a bunch of threes early. The team hit all 5 very early and then didn't hit any more. But how key was that start for you guys to get off to a big lead and kind of set the tone?
I think that's our goal every game. Just start the game with the first punch. To be honest, I mean, you see, we get those first 5 threes and they don't want us to shoot again, so it's crucial. And
then Zai, for you, West Virginia was another one of those games where you guys probably were kicking yourselves afterwards, and you and I were talking the other day about it seems like every time you guys lose, it's something you guys did. And so how glad are you to have this one again, too, where you get another shot at West Virginia?
I'm super happy. I think that's the good thing about the Big 12 tournament is teams that you might have slipped up on during the season, you get another shot at them. So they're a great team. So we'll be having a good game plan and we'll be ready for them.
Any other questions? Oh, Kathleen.
Hey, Coach. Kathleen from the 9 Sports. How important is it at this stage in the season and in a tournament like this to have this kind of production from your bench, especially?
Yeah, that's been a strength of ours all year long. Clearly Des is one of the best players on our team and one of the most, prolific scorers. And so, as well as Logan Greer is one of our most talented players. So to have those two coming off the bench is awesome for us, because we always say you're not going to win or lose a game in the first 2 minutes of the game, but we have a great starting lineup that provides stability, some offensive weapons, some defensive weapons, but absolutely no drop off from our bench. And that's something that we've really come to rely on. And everyone just trusts that whoever's in is going to have that impact.
We have time for one more, right over here on the right.
Coach, what do you think of the Buff fans that showed out today?
Oh, yeah, we've had a great group of Buff fans. We have family, we have fans, our band, our cheer, our athletic director. And so we're really excited to get to continue to play in front of them.
Awesome. Thank
All
you.
right, let's go Buffs.
Baylor's on its way. Yes. Joined by Baylor head coach Nikki Collin, student athlete Ella Brow. Coach, if you would start with a few opening comments, please.
Yeah, super disappointed. Don't think we brought our A game or even our B game tonight. If I had to grade us, it might be a D. But I also think that Colorado is really good at what they do. They know who they are. And I think the toughest teams win in March. And so, ultimately, if we want to be good in March, the rest of March, we're going to have to toughen up a little bit. So 3 for 21 from 3 and 12 for 21 from the line is not going to beat anybody. So, we're going to have to get better shots. I thought the key part of the game, there were two key parts, but I thought 8.5 minutes into the second quarter, or actually a minute and a half into the second quarter, we were in the bonus. And we just fired threes. And we just did a poor job of understanding in that scenario that we had to get downhill and put pressure on the rim because every hand check was going to put us to the foul line. So, but I thought Ella, Kayla, Tang, with Bugs and Talia were really good together tonight. And so they fought. They helped us fight back into the game, and I thought they played really, really well.
All right, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. All right, right here on the right.
Coach, you mentioned the shooting performance. What about Colorado's defense made it difficult to shoot the ball tonight?
I think shot selection was a problem. I do think they're a very good defensive team. I think their length, their switchability. I don't think we played fast enough. I thought we looked like the more tired team. until I thought the second half, we had way more of a burst, getting up and down the floor, and I thought when we could get into a step up, we got good shots. We didn't make them, but I think what makes them hard to play against sometimes is just their length and switchability. They can emergency switch, and we didn't do a good enough job of playing to those mismatches when we had post ups inside.
Over here on the left.
Coach, that starting group has been pretty reliable all year. Why did it seem like they were a step behind early on?
I think the best question would probably be to ask them that. I don't think it was a lack of want. I just think, we had warned them, that, I had our guys be really, really physical in practice. I thought Colorado was going to win that opening matchup, and we didn't like it. We don't like the physicality. We want our GAs to call fouls. And so I don't think we were locked in. I think we missed defensive assignments early. That's what was the most frustrating thing. Our ball screen coverage wasn't good enough. Our rotations weren't good enough. We didn't guard the ball well enough. So I really thought our breakdowns with that starting group were defensively, and then they didn't make up for it, by making shots at the offensive end. So, that's a group that's reliable because they're the group that defends and is the most connected defensively. And when they weren't connected defensively, I thought they all, in their own way, tried to make plays on offense that weren't necessarily in the best interest of our team, but they were trying to do it for the sake of our team. And I just thought, our shot selection wasn't great.
Go back to the platform.
Coach, looking at this game, what do you feel the team needs to change the most before going into March Madness?
We got to be tougher. We have to be tougher. I thought, you look at the beginning of the game, and I remember looking and Bugs had one offensive rebound, and it just felt like she had more than that. And then I looked down at the number of fouls she drew, and they were fouling her going to the glass because they couldn't keep her off the glass. So we challenged them to go to the boards, and all of a sudden you started to see Ting get on the glass, and Kyla started to get on the glass, and people started to come along and get on board with creating extra possessions, because if you're not making shots, you've got to get extra possessions. So what do we have to be better at? We have to be more connected. If we're supposed to be hard hedging ball screens, we hard hedge ball screens. We're not in drop coverage, and we missed those assignments. We were never supposed to be in drop coverage. So, we got to be connected. We got to talk, and we got to stop talking and start doing.
Over here to the left, then we'll come back.
Ella, did you expect to play that much? And when you did, were you able to find some sort of a rhythm?
Yeah, I think my mentality is always to be ready. I can be called on at any moment. So being able to have that opportunity and go into the game, I knew that our team needed something, and that was energy, changing the momentum of the game. And that's what I tried to do when I was in the game, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, Coach, what can you just say about Ella coming off the bench tonight?
Yeah, I thought she was phenomenal. I thought our pace increased. I thought she did a great job pushing the ball in transition. Ella's greatest strength is she is ready. I don't think there's a game we've put her in that she doesn't understand personnel. She doesn't understand scheme. They threw it into the post, and she dug off 13, and we hadn't done that all game long. But she knew that's a kid that, isn't a big scorer for them, and Kayla could use help. And so, she does the little things. And I think the toughest part for Ella, and she probably could speak to this better than I can, but she had a great summer. She had a really good fall, and then she got a stress fracture. And then that 6 weeks turned into about 8, and Christmas, and then, you're in the thick of things. And I think that even though she's not gotten as many minutes as I'm sure she wanted, it's not that we didn't think she was capable. I thought her confidence was the greatest thing that I saw out there tonight. They jumped into a zone out of a timeout and for the first time, and she went right down the middle and dropped it off for a layup. So that says a lot, that in that moment you've called a play You've got to abort that play, get in something else. She was aggressive, you know. She made plays, and she can make a three without banking it in too. So,
I called it.
Yeah, Ella, I'm curious your perspective on the Big 12's glass floor. Did you feel any difference from a hardwood floor?
To be honest, I just play, so no. But obviously some people slipping and sliding, but it is what it is. You got to get out there and play at the end of the day.
All right, back on the platform.
Coach, I know this is not an ideal way to play this late in the season, but is this a game that you're at least kind of hoping that you guys can get out of the way, and maybe, you know, it's like only way we can go here from here is up?
I would love to tell you that's how I feel right now. Right now, I'm just disappointed that we won't be game planning for West Virginia tonight. I'm disappointed that, you know, I think we had a chance to increase our seed line, and I think we did the opposite. So I'm not real focused on the positives right now. I've got a 10 o'clock rule. I've told the players this. I'm pretty miserable. I won't sleep. But by 10 a.m. tomorrow, I'll have moved on because my team needs me to move on. And I have to force myself to do that sometimes, but I owe them that. You know, I'm going to ask a lot from them, and I'm going to give everything that I've got. So if it doesn't wake them up, then, you know, it's going to be a real short trip in the NCAA tournament for us. We've got to be tougher. We've got to execute better. We've got to be more connected. We need each other. We need each other. And I don't feel like – I felt like the group when the group that had success, when you look at +7, +8, when you look at that group, they were connected. That's not our best defensive lineup. It's not our best offensive lineup, but they were connected. They executed. They ran their stuff. They screened. They moved the ball. The ball moved around. Didn't necessarily go in. But we had one possession that Ting got a wide open three in the corner on an offensive rebound, and everybody touched it, and the ball was popping around. And, like, that's Baylor basketball. And we don't do that enough. Like, we just, you know, and I think we've got to trust that the ball can have energy. And so there's going to be a lot of film watching from this because, you know, the last time we played Colorado, we were at home, and we had a stretch of 2 for 20. But our defense kept us in the game. And when we were struggling offensively, our defense let us down. And our defense, we've relied on our defense all year long. And then when we get going offensively, then we look like a really, really good basketball team. But we can win ugly, and we didn't want to win ugly tonight. Like, we didn't have enough energy to get the stops that we needed, to get the rotations that we needed. I think we took 6 charges against them when we played them at our place, and I think we took 1 tonight. Like, we didn't have that same sense of urgency in our rotations. But our ball screen coverage was bad, and we didn't really guard our yard very well.
We have time for one more right here in the front on the left.
Coach, you don't normally go to your bench that deep in your bench as early as you did, like you did in the second quarter. I'm curious. You mentioned that they were just connected, but were you, I don't know, trying to send a message at all to your starters, or why did you go to your bench that early?
Because our starters weren't getting it done. They were also in a little bit of foul trouble. But I was looking for a spark. You know, I was looking for a spark. I felt like, you know, Kira probably plays downhill as well as anyone on our team. And so we're in the bonus, and I thought she could play downhill and draw a foul, and she took a jumper. But, you know, like, there was a method. I don't know that it was madness. Like, everyone on our team is on our team for a reason. But I thought we needed energy. You know, I just, at that point, it wasn't about perfect execution. Like, to me, if your execution isn't perfect, but your energy is elite, you can cover up mistakes. But when your execution isn't good and your energy isn't good, you're not going to cover up mistakes. You're going to be late to rotations. You're going to, you know, be late to coverages. And so it was just better to me, if I'm a fan, I want to watch people play hard. I want to see them compete with everything they've got. And I thought that's what we did. You know, I thought that's what that group did. And so, you know, that doesn't mean I don't believe in that starting lineup, and I don't think they're elite players, and they're not going to learn from this. But today, they didn't have it. They didn't make plays. They did not make defensive plays. And so we needed to start by making defensive plays and then sharing the basketball. And I thought that's what that group did. I thought they looked for Kayla on the post up when she had a mismatch. They, you know, like Ella got downhill when she got a switch and made a layup. Like, it just, they moved the basketball. They did a really good job moving the basketball. And she got ahead to Talia quickly or got us into action quickly. So all of a sudden, like, we played so much faster. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know that I was trying to send a message. Thing about me, I don't play games. I'll tell them exactly how I feel. I'm never going to cuss or call them names or anything like that. I'm going to challenge. I'm going to set expectations and standards. And when they're not playing, there's a reason. And I'm happy to tell them what it is. But I don't play games. I'm not trying to send any messages other than we were trying to win a basketball game, and I was putting people on the floor that would give us some energy and hopefully help us get back in the game, which I thought they did. I thought they, you know, if you take away that first quarter, it was a pretty good basketball game after that first quarter.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.